Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro friends. Today we are going to be taking a look at something that is near and dear to my heart. Anyone who has been following us a year into this podcast knows that I'm not somebody who is going to sit here and talk to you in a way that makes you rah-rah positive. I'm not interested in rah-rah positive. I'm interested in the shit that will create authentic, genuine, long-term, fulfilling, rewarding change in your life, whereby you're living a career and a life that you can be proud of and that you enjoy living. That's what I choose for myself. It's what I hope for you. I can't give that to you, but I can talk openly about my journey and hope that it helps reveal some things for you that you can perhaps relate to. I grew up in a culture, I grew up in Australia between two cultures that were in conflict with each other. I grew up at home in an Arab culture and at school in the Australian culture, and I wasn't alone. I'm first generation Australian, as were pretty much all of my friends. And I found that the signaling I was getting from how I should be at home was very different to the signaling I was receiving when I was at school. And this happened throughout my young years and my teenage years, into my university years. And then the same thing continued into my career in the corporate world and into the coffee industry. And so today we're going to be talking about the power of fuck you. It is a powerful statement that came to me 10 years after it was first introduced to me. Now, this power of fuck you is tied back directly to the idea of assertiveness. Now let's define assertiveness. And we've talked a little bit about it, throughout this podcast, this Map It Forward podcast and the Daily Coffee Pro. But let's revisit what assertiveness is. People tend to think that being assertive is being aggressive. But Dr. Jamie Berry, who's been on this podcast and who's talked at our conference in Australia about what assertiveness is, uses a seesaw to describe what assertiveness is. And if at one end of the seesaw you have aggression, and at the other end of the seesaw you have passive, right at the center is assertiveness. And to be assertive, you need to say what you mean and mean what you say without trampling all over other people. That's what assertiveness is. So as you can see, being aggressive is not being assertive. Being aggressive is being aggressive. So when you hear me say the power of fuck you, you might be thinking, well, that's quite aggressive. Well, it's aggressive if the intention of fuck you is to fuck somebody up. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the power of fuck you for somebody like me who was taught to be passive and taught that being humble was the best way to move through life at all costs to myself. So put all other people ahead of what you are and what you need and what you require for other people's gain. And that is culturally very relevant to the Arab culture and many Mediterranean cultures as well, and Asian cultures, and all across the Middle East. It was only until recently that it was presented to me that I didn't have to sacrifice myself in order for other people's gains. What I needed had to come first for me. Now imagine going 40-something years believing that the most noble way to go through life was to self-sacrifice, and then coming to this realization that, hold on, I seem to be the person losing here. And it's no wonder that I've been bullied. I know that those of you who think that you know me, particularly through this podcast, keep thinking like, but Lee's so confident. Like, she gets shit done, and she has lots of courage and lots of, get up and go, etc., etc. I'm not saying that I don't. But that isn't intertwined with assertiveness. Working hard is also culturally something that Arabs do. And I was I was taught very well by both my parents and all of my family about hard work, because they're all very hardworking, and all the other great things that people tend to compliment me on. And I appreciate all your kind words. Yes, I do work hard. Yes, I do take risks. Yes, I do all of these things that you may think of me. But the one thing I haven't had a lot of practice at is standing up for myself at the hardest of times. The way I was raised and having these two cultures in conflict left me to be a great target for people who are manipulative. And my naivety and my trust in people's willingness to always do the right thing and always be good people led me to be the target of other people's clusterfuckery. And I own that. I couldn't see it before. And then the last few years, particularly the last 2 years, I've really stepped into this idea that was told to me about 11 years ago, the power of fuck you. And it happened when I was consciously uncoupling from my marriage, and I was at a counsellor with my now ex-husband, and the counsellor said to me, Lee, I can't wait for you to step into the power of fuck you. Then you will understand what freedom means. And it's taken me 11 years to figure it out. But what it really means is looking at situations where I've done absolutely nothing wrong, where people continue to come at me and attack me because I may appear to be quite naive, or because they test the waters and they see, oh, she's not like a bitch. People expect me to be some kind of colossal bitch, and I'm not. I'm the exact opposite of that. I'm kind and I'm generous and I'm open-hearted and I want the best for people. And America has absolutely taught me that that is dangerous. I need to be more guarded around that. Living here the last 3.5 years led me to this place of really understanding the power of fuck you. And in particular, very recently, when I had someone who wanted to join my team for Elixir that really took advantage of my nature. This person was invited to become a part of the team as a salesperson, promised all of this stuff, didn't deliver on it, and then tried to take me to the cleaners. And I just decided I wasn't going to have it. And with the help of my dear friend Jamie, him saying, well, wait, what are you going to do about this? This is this assertiveness that we keep talking about. And I was encouraged by the people around me. You've got this. Like, you don't have anything to worry about. Fight it. And I did. I thought, well, fuck you. I'm not going to let you stand all over me. I didn't say that to this person, but this was the internal talk. I could either be passive about this and I could let this person walk all over me and pay them what they didn't deserve, or I could honor our agreement and he didn't deliver on the things that he said he could deliver. And I keep my end of the bargain. Until you deliver, you don't get paid. that's being assertive. It's not being aggressive. It was a really big moment for me in my journey towards assertiveness, because what ended up happening is he went and applied for, here it's like unemployment. He applied for unemployment after having been doing some work for 3 weeks. He was with Elixir, and in those 3 weeks he took 12 days off and then tried to file for unemployment. I put all the paperwork together. I had calendars that showed exactly what he didn't do. I showed transcripts from emails. And it was the power of fuck you that was driving this for me. I presented it as evidence against why he shouldn't be filing this claim against me. And all my friends were telling me, you don't even need to be doing all this stuff. Like, he's got nothing to hold you against. But it went to the idea I needed to defend myself. I hadn't done anything wrong, and this person was trying to intimidate me by saying to me, I'm going to fucking take you to the cleaners, you better lawyer up, etc., etc. I stood my ground. I took my evidence to the people who had contacted me for evidence. They then called me and they said, hold on, wait, let us get this right. He wasn't actually employed with you. I'm like, no, he wasn't. And he didn't do what he said he was going to do. She said, oh, this is a waste of time. And it was dropped. And for me, it was huge. It was a really big win. I'm even getting emotional thinking about that moment now. Because if anybody had have taught me earlier in my life this power of fuck you and what assertiveness was, I think I could have learnt how to stand up to bullies a lot sooner. And a bully is just someone who thinks they're stronger than you and is going to take the opportunity to test the waters and see what they can get out of you. Just because you might be strong, just because you may be someone who's a good communicator or whatever, there's always someone that is either bigger or thinks they're bigger than you out there, and they will try it. But stepping into the power of fuck you and learning how to be assertive is going to be the thing that saves you from being trampled on. It's like learning how to defend yourself physically. It gives you the confidence to be like, well, I don't want to have to use these skills that I have, but if I do have to use them, I've got them. And so that's the power of fuck you. I wanted to share my story with you in the hope that it helps you find the confidence in yourself to start researching assertiveness, or come to our workshop that we're going to be holding. We haven't released the tickets for it yet, but we will be holding it sometime in the next few months with Dr. Jamie Berry. And on that note, I leave you, friends. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day.